live again. So I guess they didn't like my status or whatever, my introduction, so to speak, from my other video. Maybe somebody will pick up on this. I don't know. Hopefully they ain't got me on restriction. I got too many people competing with me today. It is Friday, but I would expect to at least see a moderator or somebody on. Maybe YouTube's not casting me today. Might be pissed at me still. Got a headache. It's a nice day to... Shit, what the hell's going on down here? I come over that hill, truck on the side of the road. What's up, viewer? It's Friday. It's fucking Friday. How about that? Yep. You got it. That's me. Fucking Friday. It's been a pretty long... If some of you may have seen that I had another video started, I had to end that video. I didn't have any viewers, which is pretty unusual. I was on for like 10 minutes. Alright, so we got one that came on and left. I suspect my daughter should be on here anytime now. She usually gets me about 5 minutes in. We're at 2:37. Seatbelt, I swear. What's up, viewer? I don't know who you are, but hello anyway. Anybody got any plans for the weekend? I'm working tomorrow. I have 45 hours. I'm planning on doing probably another either 4 or 6 tomorrow, so that'll put me at 45 and 4. That's 49. Or 51, depending on how many hours I work tomorrow. I haven't worked any overtime. Oh man, probably a month at least, I imagine. Now there for a while, I was working overtime like every weekend, 10 hours a day. So I was getting like 56 hours a week. Well, 54 to 56, you know. Alright, Mr. Motor Scooter, get on down the road. You should be out here riding in the fucking rain, dumbass. Get out of my way or something. One viewer. Hello, viewer. What's happening? This guy in front of me. I don't know if you'll be able to see him. I'm going to turn this thing around for a second. No, you can't see him. Motorcycle. Anyway, it's raining. This guy's out here riding a motorcycle. I'll be damned if I'd be on a motorcycle in the rain. Nope, not happening. Looks like it's getting heavier as we head east. I got 2 viewers. Hello, viewers. Who wants a shout out? Comment, I'll give you a shout out. Anyway. Yeah, so I decided this week I was going to work a little overtime. It's not because I really want to, it's because I really kind of have no choice. I was talking a little earlier about, you know, being able to work and live. Seems like the further we get into the future from, you know, the 80s, which is actually the present, things are a lot more expensive than they used to be. Of course, you know, when you get a good job and, you know, you start making decent money, you have a tendency to live beyond your means like I do. You know, I stay right there on that threshold. You know, you only live once. Might as well enjoy it while you can, right? So I do. I enjoy what I have because I work for it. Plain and simple. No two ways about it. Yep. I didn't expect it to be raining this hard today. I mean, I knew it was supposed to rain, but it's really coming down. I'm not going to turn the camera around again. It'll focus on the raindrops anyway, so you won't be able to see anything ahead. But anyways, I was saying, you know, you almost have to work overtime these days. You know, it's like back in the 80s, I went to high school, my senior year in high school. I worked at a convenience store on third shift. I would get off work at 7 o'clock. I'd be at school at 7:30. And I'd stay until noon. They had what they called an early work release. Like it was a credit, you know, like almost like a class. So I got credit for it as an elective, but I'd go to school until around noon. And then I'd go home and sleep for a few hours. You know, usually 6 or 7 hours I'd sleep. I'd get up around, you know, 6 or 7 at night. And after I've slept all day, eat some dinner, take a shower, get ready for work. Be at work at 11. Work 11 to 7, get off at 7 to go to school, be there at 7:30. It was a vicious cycle. Anyway, but I was able to make it back then, you know. It's like, now of course my car was paid for back then, and I lived in a boarding house where I think I paid like $40 a week for a room. It was this huge house. It used to be a doctor's house in Pineville, North Carolina. I believe his name was Dr. Lee, I believe was his name. I don't remember. It's been so long, but there was like one bathroom upstairs that everybody shared, and then there was 4 bedrooms, but then there was another like apartment that took up half the upstairs, and it was $50 a week. It was $10 more a week, but he had a hallway and it had its own personal bathroom. And I just rented a room for $40 a week for a couple of years, and then I moved my girlfriend in with me, and I got the apartment. So I was paying $50 a week for 2 people. Like I said, my car was paid for, so you know I didn't have that expense. You know, I might have paid. I think I paid $100 a month for insurance on my car back then. But it was a 1969 Plymouth Valiant, and all I had was liability. I didn't really, you know, I went to my girlfriend's mom's house to eat. You know, she was real good about fixing stuff to eat, and then plus my girlfriend at the time, she worked at a fast food restaurant, so she would bring home sandwiches and shit, you know, fries, drinks. So, you know, it was cheap living. I mean, it wasn't the greatest in the world, but it was living, and I didn't worry about expenses. You know, now I got, you know, car payments, fucking insurance is almost $300 a month. You know, then you got a house payment, which that'll be over pretty soon. Well, the next couple of years. Excuse me, working class. But just, you know, it's so much easier back then to live. You know, I made, I think, let's see, I worked at Burger King and I made $4.50 an hour. But, you know, back then, shit, $4.50 an hour, that was good money. And I was almost fresh out of high school when I was still going to school and working at a convenience store. I made, I think, $5.25 or $5.75, and then I got an hour shift premium, so I was making, you know, $5.75, $6 an hour for working third shift. Hell, you know, for me to make $250 for $300 a week, that was pretty good fucking money. I even pulled up shifts. I didn't care. You know, what else did I have going on? Just a young 20-something-year-old kid. But nowadays, you know, I've been on the job I'm on now. I've been on 9 years, and I make decent money. I mean, I don't make $1 million a year like, you know, most of us wish we could, but when you put a dollar amount, you know, on your lifestyle, you know, some of us tend to overdo it. You know, buying things we either don't need or can't afford. I try to stay away from that. I've taken out loans and shit, you know, pay off credit cards and all that. I try to, you know, keep my finances in order anyway. But, yeah, things were a lot more simpler in the 80s, definitely. The 90s weren't too bad. Like, I worked in a steel mill. 3 days. I got paid 3 days. Next week, I got paid 5 days. So, depending on my work, I had Alright, I'm back. Sorry, y'all. Oh, yeah. Alright, I'm back. Sorry, y'all. Oh, yeah, I see. Good. Work schedule was kind of rough. You know, that 36-hour week really killed me. But, you know, like, I got immediate overtime with money, you know. Like, for anything I worked over 8 hours a day was overtime. So I worked 12-hour shifts from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. when I first started there. And I made decent money. Plus you get a shift premium. I made decent money. Plus you get a shift premium. I think I was making, and how much was I making there? $12 an hour, maybe $9. I don't remember. That's been so long ago. You know, I worked at that steel mill back in 1997, 96. Yeah, 95, 96, somewhere in there. I have to associate every time, you know, everything from that time period. I have to associate with what was going on in the world or where I was at the time. I really didn't pay attention back then to, like, you know, like some people do these days, you know. Well, you know, this day and time I started at this place, and, you know, this date and time I started at that place. And I never really did anything like that. I did have a lot of jobs when I was younger. That Teledyne Allback job, man, that was a great job. After I got put on first shift, I didn't like dealing with the bigwigs on first shift, but I went from driving a ceiling crane for a box, you know, on a rope around my neck, and I drove a ceiling crane, you know, carrying steel around the inside of a building. And then when there was, I worked a shop, what they call a shop block machine that has rollers on it, and they use steel shot to clean off the oxidation and stuff off the steel, clean it up basically before it's processed. And so I would, it was my job to go outside and get orders and all that bullshit. It was a pretty cool job. Hi, Mom. What's happening? Quit yawning? Yeah, no kidding. Hey, introduce you guys to my mom, Margaret mom there. Yeah, I had a long day, Mom. That 9-hour shifts are killing me. I'm busy all day though, so it doesn't bother me too bad until I get off work. And I get to run in my mouth and I'll start yawning, It's exhausting. But anyway, so I was talking about a job I had at Teledyne Allback in North Carolina when I worked in that steel mill. This was probably before I found you and Dad. This was like 95 or 96, I think, is when I started there. Something like that anyway. And I don't know, I've done all kinds of stuff. Car dealerships, working as an oil technician and changing tires and stuff like that, But, lifestyles change over the years. And as you get older, you require more junk. So, when I was young, I didn't care. I was pretty satisfied with the stuff that I had. But, the thing is that when I would get something, especially when I was married, when I would get something, I'd always have to give it up, sell it or something, motorcycles, and dirt bikes, and stuff like that. So when I left my ex-wife, I decided I was going to start getting back all that stuff that I lost out on over the years. And now I got more junk than I know what to do with. Anyway, so I was just discussing a little more about, how what the contrast or what the difference is between when I worked in the 80s and was able to live simple, and now that I'm a mature, responsible adult member of society, or something like that. How it's a little harder to make it these days than it was back in those days, because that's much, I was too busy having fun to worry about things. There was always something going on. There's always something going on now too, but that's all over there in North Carolina. I don't pay that stuff attention too much. Not, oh, ain't that sweet? Yeah. Back at you, Mom. That's right. So Ashley's usually on here. I don't know where she's at today. She told me the other day that she was sorry. She text messaged me and told me she was sorry she missed my live feed. I do this 3 times a week usually, or I try to anyway, and then like tomorrow I'm going to be working, so I might try to do a video tomorrow. I'll set up my phone somewhere and let it run while I'm working, so you guys can see what I do. I've done a work video before, but I didn't actually point it to where people could see, what I was doing. I didn't really talk a lot because, when I'm there on Saturdays, it's a little more relaxed, because there's nobody, we don't have to worry about customers coming in and our boss man's not there and stuff like that. So it's a little bit more relaxed atmosphere. So on Saturdays, I do waste a little time. I guess a little more than I should, but I try not to. Yeah, Nev D, job, yeah. I work for a company that what they call retrofits commercial vehicles, So these people from these companies, these commercial companies, contractors like air conditioning, electrical, pest control, police and fire, things like that. They have every year they replace like some of the vehicles in their fleets. And where I work, we're responsible for putting equipment into these vehicles as required by the commercial industry, or whichever industry they're in. So we do like GPS systems, we do radios, we do shelving, lighting, backup sensors, backup alarms, parking assistance, all kinds of stuff. It's a pretty cool job. And I'm the quality control technician. So these guys have these what they call work orders that have all this different equipment and things, and the time that it's supposed to take them to do it. And when they get done with them, a lot of them get decals. So after they're decaled, they come to me, and I inspect them to make sure that they're done correctly, and that all the bells and whistles work, and that if there are any serial numbers, I have to record serial numbers. I spend a lot of time in front of a computer, but I also take a lot of pictures and things to upload in the system. We can do video in the way of the football game. Yeah, we can do a video on the way of the football game tomorrow. That's right. I'll probably shoot some video anyway. I usually do, at the football games. But anyway, Nev, it's a pretty cool job. I take photos, I put them I upload them into to our work hub, and record all the serial numbers, and I have to make sure all the VIN numbers and factory order numbers and parts, pieces, and things, that all the parts and pieces that are supposed to be there are there. I also have to make sure there's no damage to the vehicles, whether it be paint or dents in the side, or whatever. So I wouldn't say it's I don't want to say it's a gravy job, because it's not. I mean, there's a lot of thinking involved, and a lot of you got to be somewhat of a perfectionist. I always look at these things and I go, amazing quality control, feel bless your working. Yes, I do. Every day I'm able to say. And the good thing about the industry that I'm in is that as long as commercial companies need vehicles, because we deal with infrastructure, really. I mean, it's like there were a lot of people, during the whole COVID thing, there were a lot of people that were furloughed and couldn't go to work, or there were such restrictions that a lot of people were working from home. So the good thing about being in an infrastructure is that we were able to go to work every day, and we were able to build vehicles if we had vehicles there. And as long as these commercial companies need vehicles to make their companies operate, to me that's job security, and I really enjoy what I do. I work long hours. I start at 6 in the morning. I work till 3:30 usually. Here this week I've been working a lot of overtime, and I'm working tomorrow, so I'll get even more overtime. But it's pretty neat, and I've been, like I said, I've been on this job 9 years, so there's got to be something about it I like. And the thing is when I started this job, I was actually a build technician, which I was putting parts together in pieces and installing them in the vans. And after I was there about 8 months or so, it was kind of a new company at that time. The company opened at that location in 2015, and I started in 2016. And at that time, we weren't really busy at that time, because the company was kind of new, and we were just trying to gain clientele, and they were restructuring schedules and things like that with GM. There's a GM plant over in Wentzville, Missouri, and they do the express vans, and they do the Colorado trucks. And so those are what we work on the most, Chevrolets. Now we do Dodge as well, but the Dodges are usually shipped in from somewhere else, and then we do have our handful of Fords that we work on every once in a while as well. So it's we get a taste of every kind of car just about, but most of them are just trucks and vans. But these fleets, we might get an order in and have 350 vans in a fleet that we need to complete, and it takes a while. So I usually get 12 to 15 vehicles inspected a day. So as long as I'm busy, I don't really have to worry about my job, But anyway, I am at home, folks. So we know that, well, I don't know, I've only got 5 people watching right now, but my videos usually last about 30 minutes or so. I started a little later today. Well, I started earlier, but nobody had checked in my video yet, so I restarted my stream, and I'm 28 minutes in. So I'd already been talking for like 10 minutes or something like that. But anyway, I'm going to take off. If you guys want to subscribe, please do. The subscribe button, I think, is up there. If you'd like to comment, you comment down there. And if you want to like my video feed, you just tap the screen twice and it'll like my feed. And I don't necessarily ask people to do that because I'm not really in this for the money. As a matter of fact, I'm not monetarily compensated for any of this. I just do this in my spare time. It gives me something to do when I'm driving. I can pay attention to the road, don't worry about it. But anyway, you guys have a great day. Hey, Mom, good to see you in there. Nev, I'm glad you stopped in. Thanks a lot for stopping in and seeing me. And I'm usually on about the same time every day. I don't know where you're at. I know where Mom's at, but Nev, I'm not sure where you're at, but I'm in the central time zone of the United States. And I'm usually on, I don't know, between 3:30 and 3:40, something like that. And oh, you're watching from the UK. Okay, well, welcome to America, kind of. Anyway, but yeah, stop in and see me sometime. If you subscribe. Oh, it's 10 at night there. Okay, yeah, it was a 6-hour difference, right? I've been to the UK. I went to London. Me and my significant other went to London in 2012 to see Iron Maiden play at the O2 Arena. Yeah, awesome technology. Yeah, it's come a long way. And I have one of those VR machines too, the virtual reality, the Quest Oculus, and I see a lot of people from the UK, especially this time of day. It's like everybody over there is partying this time of night, and they all get on there with their buddies. But yeah, welcome in. Come in anytime. Like I say, so if I'm on here 30 minutes, it's 10 at night there now. I'm usually on around 9:30 your time, so PM. Stop in, subscribe, and usually YouTube will send a notification or something. All right, Mom. Love you lots. And I'm going to get out of here. Nev, welcome. I hate to cut it short, but I am home now, so I'm going to take off, and you guys have a great evening. And we'll see you again. Maybe tomorrow I'll be doing a video, like I said, from work. I'll just set the thing up somewhere, and you'll see me, going back and forth and doing my thing. Or I'll do another video Monday. Now, I'm also going to a football game tomorrow night, so you guys will have a chance. Keep an eye out for short videos. I usually do short videos of like the teams warming up, or the kickoff, or the intros, or whatever. I imagine tomorrow is going to be a pretty big deal because it's a championship football game. You're going to have the Michigan Panthers. This is American football, with the helmet and the pads and the whole 9 yards. Anyway, the Michigan Panthers are going to be playing the Washington Defenders tomorrow. All right, you have a lovely evening too, Nev. It's good to see you in there. Like I said, you can either subscribe up here, comment down here, or push the button twice on the screen and it'll give me a like. All right, y'all take it easy. Have a good one. Peace.